you're like, I don't want to be a photographer because my parents are going to be mad that I dropped out of university, I think your parents will be more upset if you're 45 years old and never once decided to live your own dream.
Lucky Goat!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Lucky Goat podcast. My name is Adam. I'm a resident director here at Lucky Goat. Today we are at Studio Le Crib and I am joined by Kyle and Vishan.
My name is Kyle. I'm a director at Lucky Goat.
Hi, I'm V and I'm a director and a DOP here at Lucky Goat.
Cool. So yeah, today, guys, I kind of want to talk about the difference between hobbyist and professional and kind of like that transition point between the two, and maybe some personal experiences that you guys have had with that transition point.
Yeah.
And maybe what the actual difference is between the two and how you might step into actually being a professional from being a hobbyist.
You know, the telltale sign of that is when you can go home and see your parents and they say, wow, how's your job doing? Instead of, how's that little video thing going?
That is the number one factor.
Hey, I was on my first shoot the other week. Oh, did you get paid? No. Oh, I hope you got a nice sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was egg.
It's an egg sandwich.
Egg salad.
Honestly, I think that resonates with me a lot because that's kind of how I started.
Egg sandwich?
No,
Egg sandwich?
actually, you know what? There were
a lot of
definitely-
surprising amount of egg
There's
sandwiches.
a surprising amount of egg sandwiches involved
Good protein.
in my come up. But nah, dude, okay. So a little bit of lore about me. I used to be a rapper, and for school, I picked up a camera. That was it. And then I popped something in my ear. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with my life anymore. I'm just going to pick up a camera because it makes me happy. Then next thing you know, someone's like, oh, hey, like, do you do photo shoots? Like, I do now. That turns into, hey, do you do videos? I guess I
so.
do now. Like, you know, I got paid a lot of $0. Huge lump sum of money. Fat zero. But yeah, man, I think film is one of those things that quickly spirals. I want to say out of control, but I actually feel in control, if that makes sense.
I think the growth spirals.
Yeah, the growth, like it
It happens
snowballs.
so much faster than you can process it.
Yeah, exponential.
Because you spend so much time at the start battling with undervaluing yourself. Because it's an innately like creative based field, you have to be the one to say, I'm not just going to watch content and movies and shows. I could see myself creating them and working in the pipeline to make these things. It's just that unless you know what film school is, or you're lucky enough to, you know, have some type of educational basis, it really has to come from the person seeing the dream, not being told about the dream. And seeing a dream and wanting it alone could be impossible for some.
Yeah, 100%.
And it will always stay just a hobby.
Yeah.
See, it all starts with a Canon T3i. I feel like there is a Canon, there's a Canon
Shout out
Rebel,
Vanier.
or there's like a Nikon somewhere in every hobbyist come up story.
I think I had like a Lumix or something, the old family
I still
camera.
got my Lumix is in the
fixed
back over
zoom
there.
lens on it. Dude, shout out to that thing.
Yeah.
But no, this whole topic hits home for me, at least, because I remember when I was doing YouTube before. I was just a kid doing YouTube videos. That's kind of how it started for me. And sometimes, you know, I'd pick up my dad's phone, pick up my dad's camera, whatever, take a couple pictures. Hey, we're going to the zoo today. Yeah, just bring the camera, you know, just having fun with it, right? Next thing you know, I'm in college. I'm working at a restaurant as a waiter at the same time. I still have a camera by me, still taking pictures, still doing YouTube videos. Have a lot on my plate, you know, but I'm like, hey, this video stuff is kind of fun. I enjoy it. Maybe let me explore this a bit more, you know, let me spend more time on this. Next thing you know, I'm finished college, quit my job, doing this full time. You know, a lot of the time it's so unexpected. Like we said, it just snowballs.
Yeah.
You know, it's very exponential growth, but you spend so much time on it that throughout the beginning of it, and a lot of the time you're not even conscious of that time that you're putting towards it, which is a good thing. You know, that usually means you're having fun and you're enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
But at least for me, that transition kind of just happened by itself very naturally.
It's crazy because I work in this industry full time, and I still, up to this day, work as a hobbyist half the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, so I'm somebody that I don't know what to do with my hands at any point. You know, I don't know if it's like an anxious trait or whatever, but I just don't know what to do with my hands. And I think that when I go out, being a guy with a camera is so helpful because
Yeah.
it's like, now I feel like I could blend in a little, not blend in, but like I kind of belong in ways that I don't necessarily feel like I belonged before.
There's a purpose to why I'm here.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
it's
big
like,
part of it.
but the best part about it, dude, it's like you know, someone's like, hey, can you take a photo of me? And I take a photo of them and I show them the photo and then they're like, oh my God, like I look so pretty. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, I'm glad I made you feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, and I still think that no matter how professional I am with this job and how much I get paid every day to use a camera, sometimes it's just fun to go out and just bring my camera along
Yeah.
for no
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
You know, go on a camping trip or hiking with your friends. Bring
Yeah.
a camera.
Yeah, because
Right?
at the beginning of the day, it all starts from a passion, from a love
Mm-hmm.
for the art, right?
Mhm.
I think no matter what you do, I think that being behind a camera is low-key a privilege, especially now that it's my job. Hell of a privilege. But that's literally how it all started for me, man. It started with a Canon T3i and a dream. And it starts off with some really, really horribly exposed, out of focus photos that end up turning into, you know, Canon 60D with a sharper lens. And people are like, oh my God, this looks amazing. This looks so cinematic. Can I pay you for this? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
Please.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that, actually.
I think there's multiple ways to also enter, or not enter, but make the jump from hobby to career. One of those being the conscious effort of building a portfolio with your hobby,
Yeah.
building a
Yeah.
cohesive world of like, I like to shoot things like this. I like this kind of imagery. In my case, I didn't build a portfolio. I didn't have it taking up a real hobby place in my life. In my situation, I'm also in a band, Ivy Tide in Montreal.
Shout
And
out.
Shout out.
Ivy Tide. Early on, we needed music videos, and none of us knew what to do for that. We were kind of just grabbing at straws, like, what could we do? Like, I have a phone, I have a old family camcorder video, like, what can we make? So we ended up finding a friend who had a camera, a hobbyist, and we got him to help us film some ideas that we hoped would just stitch together nicely. And then I bought a license to Premiere, and I figured out how to edit the footage that our friend had shot for us, and thought, okay, well, this is a music video, I guess. It's a music video, it works. And very quickly after that, I had left my full-time job as a social work technician because I thought to myself, I really liked that process. I really liked the act of conceptualizing a video and being part of a cog in a wheel to make it happen and finding a new skill set. I would happily die doing this.
Yeah.
So forget the thing that I studied for in school for like half a decade. I'm going to decide on finding a way to work in movies, because every day when I come home, I watch movies to decompress. I watch shows to decompress, to find a sense of belonging,
Yeah.
to find deeper meaning, to have a love for a story that's being told.
100%.
Why can't I be someone who works to make that happen as well?
Yeah.
So fuck this thing that I'm doing. Let me figure out how to use the skill set I've gained working with people in social work and start to put myself onto sets for free, Facebook groups, reach out and see where the opportunities could be so that I could turn this from an idea of a hobby and a passion and a sense of fulfillment and merge it into financial security and a career path and a sense of peership and belonging with other people in my city.
Yeah.
and start from there. And that's, you know, how we met.
Yeah.
It's how we met eventually as well. Anyone in this room, it's how we've all met.
Nah, like
Yeah.
I totally resonate with that, dude. Like, again, like as I said before, like I used to be a performer. I started off like the biggest reason that I got behind a camera is because I still wanted to be involved in music somehow.
Yeah.
So after I went like pretty much deaf in my left ear, right, it turned me off from wanting to make music because I'm like, this doesn't feel right. You know, I have tinnitus all the time now. And I think for me, the next best thing was if I'm behind a camera, I can still be around music. And whether that's just shooting portraits of people at shows or shooting the artists themselves or, you know, like doing a 0 budget music video for one of my friends, at least it was a way for me to like involve myself in music,
Yeah.
which like will always be one of my biggest passions. I love consuming it. I love making it. And it became one of those things that quickly, like it started off as a hobby because it was COVID and there was literally nothing else to do, right? So it started off as a hobby, but then it just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. And it turns out that I actually kind of love filmmaking more than I love making music. And at one point you start doing it full time because you're just so obsessed with this thing, right? Like, I think in my first year, I would spend like probably 12 to 16 hours a day in front of Premiere, just learning it, in front of After Effects, just learning it. And then, okay, you know what? My computer's not strong enough. Let me just spend $6,000 right now, you know? And then at one point you spend all this money and you realize like, dude, this is not like a hobby anymore. This is an obsession.
Yeah, it's
And I
an
want to
investment.
make money off the thing that I'm passionate about. And I
Yeah.
want to make money off the thing that I'm obsessing about because it's all I want to do.
Yeah.
So just quickly going off of those 2 points that you guys made and kind of tying it into my own personal story. So kind of jumping off of your personal ties to why it is you do what you do and to you, your transition from music. A big part for me is I used to be a drummer. I was a drummer for 7 years of my life. That
Hell
was
yeah.
a massive part of what I do, right? And music has always been a massive thing within my family. Take my brother, for example, you know, like shout out Ryan.
Shout out Ryan.
He's a professional guitarist. He's great, you know.
Also there that night when I popped my eardrum.
Yeah, that's literally a story for another time,
Legendary,
100%.
dude.
Small world. But for me, it that's kind of how that transition happened because music was already such a massive part of my life. And while, yeah, I wasn't playing the drums anymore, or at least not as much as I used to, I really wanted to keep that passion and that love for music integrated and alive within my day-to-day somehow, right? So just off of that, it started very simply with like my brother was playing a concert one night and he was like, you know, come with me, bring your camera, take some pictures. Okay, sure, you know, this could be fun, I guess. Next thing you know, all the artists are asking me, hey, can I have those pictures? These are great, I'd love to see these, you know. Hey, do you want to come shoot this time over here, whatever, right? Fast forward, I'm working a job at the same time I'm in college, right? People are asking me, hey, can you come shoot? Can you do a music video here? No, I can't. I'm working over here, right? I have school, I have exams. Can't make this fit right now, but I'd love to, right? And I'm kind of starting to realize, hey, there's something going on here, you know? Maybe this is something I could do. And while all of that thought process is happening, I'm dealing with all sorts of kind of mental health stuff at the same time, right? And videography or cinematography at the time, it kind of became such an escape for me. I would come home from school, throw my bag down, grab my camera, I'd go out into my backyard and I'd film something. What I would do I did it for like a month straight. I would listen to a song and then based off of that song, I would come up with some sort of visual and I'd just film myself. And for me, it became such an escape that it's like, you know, I can't go without this. I need to make this the thing that I do in my day-to-day. Someone makes these movies, you know, somebody's doing it. Why can't it be me, right?
I always had that thought peer into my head, which has helped with, I think, something we want to touch on, which is the obstacles that like self-doubt and understanding true value outside of just the hobby lens can come from. having these moments where you think to yourself, anyone I idolize, my favorite movie, my favorite show, whether it be a director, whether it be the way that, you know, when people saw like 1917, for example, they were like, groundbreaking, it's my favorite movie of all time. Everyone has their favorite piece of media or their favorite pieces of media. All the people at the helm of those favorite pieces of media were one day sitting around thinking the exact same thing. They didn't do anything yet, and they thought, I love the idea of waking up and doing this every day. How do I get there?
Yeah.
And they figured it out. So best believe that anyone that I'm alongside, or even myself, there's a way there. It's just you have to be serious about taking the shit that will come with it.
Literally, take an example from
navigating it.
Look at like Quentin Tarantino or something. He used to like work at a video store, whatever.
Mhm.
He used to sell movies, rent out movies to people.
Yeah, his whole life was selling and consuming movies that existed. And when you have this fire inside you where you're like, I see myself doing that. It's just how? Where are the keys to the kingdom?
And then once that fire is lit and you have that drive, it'll work itself out one way or another,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And then kind of jumping from there, I kind of want to talk about, you know, what makes people get stuck in that hobbyist world. You know, what's the stopping point for people to make that jump?
I think that the overlapping fear of like the more business that it becomes,
Of course,
the more
yeah.
client based or business based.
And sometimes, you know, it's good to just keep it
Yeah,
as a hobby.
but
It's
that's
not
what
for
I'm saying,
not
like-
everybody needs to turn it into a profession.
What if
Mhm.
you're just comfortable with where you're at?
Yeah.
What if my real passion is in social work? You know, and I love helping people, but also it's really fun to just pick up a camera here and
Yeah.
there and make
Yeah.
people feel pretty. And I think that that's like totally okay. I feel
But that's not something you're gonna figure out without trying
no,
things out.
100%, right? I do think that especially in our industry, a lot of creatives like to kind of look down on the hobbyists, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But where is the shame in taking your little SLR camera, your little 35 mil, and like, you know what I mean? Taking a photo of a tree if that photo of the tree makes you happy, right? And again, it's like the same thing with comparing videography to cinematography or hobbyist photographers versus professional photographers. I think that if you're happy in that lane, stay there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The one thing though is that you should not let fear consume you. You know,
Never.
if you're like, I don't want to be a photographer because my parents are going to be mad that I dropped out of university, I think your parents will be more upset if you're 45 years old and never once decided to live your own dream, you know? And I think that if you're 20 years old, fuck it, you know? If that's what you want to do, or if that's what you think you want to do, there's no harm in trying it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm going to apply like someone like Maya Angelou to like this filmmaking process, right? She was, I think, in her 30s when she wrote her first book. She was in her 40s when she got her first PhD. Life doesn't stop, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you could be as young as you want for as long as you want, almost.
There's a ton of filmmakers that started their
Yeah,
careers. in their
didn't
40s,
Villeneuve
50s.
like start his actual career in like his
That I have no idea.
50s
No,
or
no,
something?
I don't
Yeah,
think so,
some-
dude. No, he's a Concordia Film alumni.
Yeah, that's honorary though. That was
Oh,
honorary.
it's honorary?
It's
Okay, I
honorary.
didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
No idea. But you know,
But
just
yeah,
to say,
people
like,
start late, you know, like there is no deadline.
Shout out Dennis
Everybody's
Villeneuve.
everybody's story is different, and that's like
Danny.
quick tangent. I feel like that's a big issue nowadays, especially like in the age of social media. Everything is fast, right? You see all this stuff online. People are making it big, young, or they have this image about them that makes it feel like, you know, everybody around me seems to be succeeding at what they're doing. Everybody's reaching their goals, reaching their dreams. Meanwhile, I'm stuck here. I feel like I've already, my time has passed, you know, I'm too late, you know? So people need to kind of realize that everybody's time is not at the same time. Everybody's story is different, you know?
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
We also need to stop creating for clout. You know what I mean? Like, I think I create not because I want to be the biggest, baddest, best director of all time. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? I create because this is genuinely the thing that makes me the happiest in life right
Yeah.
now. And I think that whether you do it as a hobbyist or you do it as your profession, that is the most important. If it puts a smile on your face and it doesn't hurt anyone else, hell yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool, dude. I
Rocket.
create for Instagram followers.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
it's
if-
cool.
That's
there's-
what
I'm
keeps me
judging
going.
you.
If there's
And
also
views.
if there's also something that's important when you're talking about the people who do want to go from hobby to career, there is a very necessary discussion and something that you have to be ready for when it comes to being a reliable hire
Mm.
and working in a way with people who may not understand what it is you do, but they know that the outcome they want for their company or for their business or for their script, you have to understand what it is to be responsible for the skill set that you have, not as a hobbyist, but as someone who's selling a skill
Mm.
that someone is paying for, and you're going to be bound to responsibilities, timelines, deadlines. That is a very scary feeling of pressure now mixed into an artistic hobby that didn't have the pressure, which was used to escape pressure in your everyday life.
Mm-hmm. And
So
that's
navigating the source of like, now the thing I loved is also causing the most stress in my life, but I have to still love it or the stress isn't worth it.
Of course, but that's where you kind of have to make your decisions, like we were talking about earlier. Maybe it's just meant to be a hobby. Take
Sure.
my example, right, where I was using it as an escape from my day-to-day. It could have stayed that. It could have remained that, and I could have went along doing something else, right? But for those where they know for a fact that they want that hobby to be more than just a hobby, there are these aspects that have to be, you have to learn these things, you know, you have to adjust, you have to take on that mindset of working with a client, of having these deadlines. And it's a risk, especially if you're already established within, whether it be a 9 to 5, you're in school, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to readjust your schedule to fit actually doing video, doing photo, whatever it might be, doing art as a
Yeah.
profession
Yeah.
is a huge risk, and it can be so overwhelming.
Yeah, I think everyone has their first V8, V9 story. Of their
Oh
first
God,
couple.
don't even get me started.
When it became from hobby to,
Ugh.
oh shit,
Yeah, I
real
gotta
quick.
fulfill this.
You're like, wait, how am I supposed to manage this?
But look, I think ultimately the whole moral of the story is that whether you're doing it as a hobby or you're doing it as a career, I think love of the game should always be
It
at
should
the
come
forefront.
first, yeah.
You know, like if this is the thing that makes you happy, whether you're getting paid for it or not, if it puts a smile on your face, that's it. That's
100%.
the most important
But there
thing.
is a balance to that, and that's
Yeah.
another massive difference between hobbyist and professional, is that a hobbyist, a lot of the time, you know, you wait for that inspiration and that motivation to come to you. You
Yeah.
know, it's not, this isn't your job. As a professional, you still have to be showing up,
Yeah.
regardless of how you feel, whether you feel like doing it today or not. It's your job. You
gotta
have to show up.
practice- You gotta
have
practice
to.
the on-off
It's
button.
the discipline, you know.
Yeah, no, I still do not have that on off button. I'm not gonna lie. Like even just like again, I'm like it's my passion, bro. So even if I'm not getting paid or I'm doing something for myself, right? I'm still like thinking and I'm still calculating in business me mode, if that makes sense, you know? I'm like, okay, this is my shot schedule. The sun is moving this way. I have probably about 30 minutes before it ducks behind that building. I need to get this shot now. And even though it's just like I'm doing this for fun, there's still the constant like, hold on, no. We have to do this right.
Yeah.
You know? And I think it doesn't like that professionalism or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't dig into my passion. I think it accentuates it.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's. I don't think it's. I think it's more obsession than anything. Obsession for wanting to use your skill set for the best outcome you can achieve. And
Yeah.
there's a part that of you can't turn off. It's like when you've learned something, let's say catching the light at the perfect time. No matter if it's, you know, your Sunday, this is for me type of shoot, or if it's a mandated shoot, you're still going to have that urgency of like, I want to get this right, no matter what the motivation is, because the love of it is still at the forefront. And it's easy to let go of that and lose the love of it, and it becomes routine, and you stop growing, and you think you know enough to just get by and live a happy life doing what you once loved as a hobby. But I think being open to growth, open to collaboration, and also knowing that you'll never stop learning
Mm-hmm.
is a very valuable lesson.
Super
When you
valuable.
take a hobby and turn it into something you do more than just a hobby.
Yeah, and another very important aspect of that is that balance is key. Self-discipline's balance in all aspects is a key to actually turning this into something with longevity, and that is overall successful and healthy.
And stop being afraid of it too.
Dude, yeah, just remember to have fun. This job is so fun. 2025, all year we're exploring childlike
having
whimsy.
fun, just whimsical.
Yeah.
You know how much bullshit is online and how refreshing it is to see, even if it's not that great on a technical level, to see someone putting something out just because they loved making it, and it's something that means something to them, and they don't have any shame or fear in it.
It doesn't happen often enough.
Yeah, everything has to be perfect. It has to be like, I can't have this going out and it's not up to a certain standard. It's
and
like,
to a degree, I feel like we're all guilty of that, to a degree of adopting that mindset of where, okay, everything has to be perfect. You kind of,
I think when it goes from hobby to business, for sure.
Yeah.
But there's still a secret ingredient of a hobbyist, which will only propel anyone in the business further if they keep holding on to that hobby love of what they do.
100%. Totally agree.
That's like true love and true passion merging with your talented skill set. And you cannot teach that shit.
No, you cannot. But yeah, guys, that was an awesome conversation. We could talk about this for hours and hours, and I definitely do want to kind of revisit this topic, maybe talk more like work-life balance in a future episode. That could be a lot of fun. 100%. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed that episode, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, notifications. If you guys have any topics that you want to hear us talk about in future episodes, please leave a comment down below and we will check it out. Anyways, guys, I've been Adam.
I have been Kyle.
I love you.
Peace.
Love the game.